with us. And for a lot of you, welcome to Dubai. So I'm Belal Jassoma, I'm Director of Ecosystems at DMCC. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what DMCC is, but starting with Dubai, especially for those who are not living here. So Dubai has positioned itself as a global business hub and as the gateway to Middle East, Asia, and Africa as well. Dubai is in a very centralized time zone and location, giving access to many parts of the world very easily and quickly. But many of the reasons why people choose Dubai is the ease of doing business and the economic competitiveness, and also for its status as a great place to live. And Dubai also is a top destination for business events. As you can see, we have numerous events covering multiple sectors, and it's the best way that you can also access opportunities through it. Now, the great thing about Dubai is that it's home to DMCC, the organization that I represent. And DMCC is basically a Dubai government authority. We were established back in 2002 with a mandate to grow trade through Dubai. We were given the piece of land that we're in over here, which is about 200 hectares or 2 million square meters in size. And today it is home to 87 towers, housing more than 25,000 companies coming from all nationalities, almost all nationalities, and sectors. Okay, now suddenly the mic is working. So what we do very well at DMCC is that we provide the office space and the registration licensing for companies to set up. But that's just the basic. What we do better than that is that we provide sector-specific ecosystems for industries that we represent. Now, we started as a commodities hub, so we have a very mature gold, diamond, agri-commodities, and energy ecosystems with a very large business community within those, and trading facilities that our companies can use. But more recently, and like many organizations, we started looking at technology, and we realized the role that technology plays, and not only enabling the trading sector, but also transforming it and driving it. And that's why we set up the DMCC Crypto Center back in 2021, followed by the Gaming Center, and more recently, the AI Center. So talking about AI in general, there's a big push from the government of Dubai and the UAE for adoption of AI technologies. And there are targets and strategies that were developed by Dubai governments that help set the scene and the tone on top. And then after that, you have lots of government entities that start rolling out incentives and programs to help with that acceleration. We started seeing big adoption of AI amongst financial sector and also the healthcare sector, but also investment funds that are specifically launched in partnership between UAE-based entities and international ones. An example is the MGX1 in partnership with Microsoft and BlackRock, starting with $30 billion and with a plan to grow into $100 billion. Jobs as well, we've seen an increase in job creation and AI job postings between previous years and this year, and we expect there to be 40,000 jobs in AI this year. So I don't think anyone here in the room is looking for AI jobs, but we'll be on the other end looking for talent. So it's going to be a challenging one if we don't focus on scaling up talent. So we set up the AI Center as a center of pragmatic AI. So the objective here is first to provide the enabling environment for AI companies to grow and the supporting services. But more importantly is we want to give our wider business community of 25,000 companies access to the right technology. So that's why the center is going to focus on both incubating companies, but also attracting AI technology from abroad. And what does it mean to be a member of the DMCC AI Center? So this is basically physically the space that you're in here. So as a company, especially if you're a startup, you can start with a small space of a co-working space and have access to all the basic services from registration license to visa. But in addition to that, we have ongoing mentorship programs, acceleration programs, and also POC programs run by our partners, AGCC, that can help you access corporates who are looking for AI adoption for their AI projects. Of course, funding is very important, and in the past, especially in the crypto space, we help our members raise funding, and we're also doing the same thing in the AI space. Now, there are many license activities that companies can choose from, but we also have very specific activities that you see on the screen that are targeting AI and robotics professionals. We now have a growing community of more than 70 AI and robotics companies, and we are welcoming approximately 5 to 10 new ones every month, so it's a growing business community, and we work with ecosystem partners to deliver the value proposition of our center. We also hosted a global AI challenge last year where we gave away $100,000 in prizes to the top 3 winners from the 5 finalists that pitched in the competition. And these are the happy faces of those who took home the money. We also had something similar. I'm not sure if I have a slide for that. I don't think I do. But we did something similar also for the crypto, the Web3 challenge that we had also last year, where we gave away $160,000 to the top 5 winners. Like I mentioned, we have ongoing events and workshops, and these are just some of the photos that we run for the center. We also participated in AI Everything, which is the biggest AI exhibition in the UAE, and we had some very interesting robotics displayed from companies that are based in DMCC. So we gave them the chance to also exhibit and participate with us. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. Who's next?
Oh, mine is just a video that you can play in the background. Is it on or do I need to turn it on? It's on. Alrighty, hold on. Okay. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you hear me? It feels like it's not on. Or I just like my sound of my voice too much. Hi everyone, my name is Anoosheh. I am the founder and managing partner. Well, I am sort of a startup, so the title, we are deciding what my title should be. Crimson Founders. I started Crimson Founders with 2 other MIT alumni, Sam Hoyk and Christina Dolan, who couldn't be here. And we decided in 2023 to build a network community venture studio for startups that have founders affiliated with MIT and Harvard. The idea actually came from, I started MIT Female Founders Pitch Competition, which is an annual event that's held in New York City. And this year, for the 3rd year, it's going to take place at Deutsche Bank Center. Very excited about it. And last year, when I came back to Dubai to visit my family, I was going to a lot of conferences and events like this, where I saw that how like UAE wants to bring startups here. They want to embrace innovation, and every time I look at the horizon, I see something new within a millisecond. It's an incredible country. And then as I was going through this, Ministry of Economy, David Tobit, who is the COO and advisor to the minister himself, said, why don't you make your event part of Investopia? And now they gave us half an hour where we can accommodate only 6 of our startups to demo at Future 100 tomorrow at Investopia. And then I started reaching out other ecosystems like DMCC. Thank you so much to everyone at DMCC, Belal, Ville, and Salman. And I have the pleasure of knowing them through John D'Agostino, who is the actual bridge. If there is a bridge between United States and UAE, it's John D'Agostino. So he made the introduction to DMCC and to Dr. Manolis, who will join us today. And both of them will ask questions, 1 question per startup because we don't have that much time. And I started going to other entities, like Dubai Future Foundation, Al Tamimi, they hosted us last night. Dubai Future Foundation hosted us yesterday. And In5 and Strip from Sharjah, they said, oh, we are next, we want them. So what does that tell you? UAE is a country that wants to invite smart people, people who want to change horizons, people who want to change future. It has been my first home and second home. Right now it's the first home. I don't know if it's going to go to New York because I'm between New York and Dubai. But Dubai is home, and I think Dubai will be home to every startup who has traveled. When we opened the applications, in 3 weeks we got 52 applications. Only 1 of them was based out of UAE. And we invited 19 of them to be part of this 1-week program. And 14 of them are present here. The rest are in Abu Dhabi getting ready for tomorrow. And you will hear tonight from 13 of them because of time limitations. And yeah, so here we are. So thank you so much for taking a look at their videos. So now I want to introduce John and Dr. Manolis. Dr. Manolis has like 4 titles. He's like the 8th professor at MIT. He's a professor of MIT Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. He's also the head of MIT Computational Biology Group. And he's the associate member of the Board Institute of MIT and Harvard, a principal investigator at MIT Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, which is called CCEL. And a lot of incredible startups are coming out of CCEL. So you guys should all follow and subscribe to their newsletter. And John, he's the head of strategy at Coinbase Institutional, fellow AIF Innovation Institute, and he's also a research affiliate at MIT CCEL. So without further ado, I'm gonna give the phone to John. Is John here?
Are we starting? So should I begin?
Anoosheh just finished introducing us, and I think it's your turn to say something.
Sorry. Apologies, everyone. I can't hear the crowd. So wonderful. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll be brief. It's wonderful to be here. My name is John D'Agostino. I am head of institutional strategy for Coinbase. This is a wonderful event. I want to thank Salman and DMCC and Anoosheh and everyone else who made this happen. This reminds me of a couple of years ago when we brought about 50 MIT students and professors to Dubai. And the goal there was to help them understand why the UAE is such a center of excellence for technology development. And why you're seeing more and more entrepreneurs seek to move to the UAE in order to build their companies. I've been lucky enough to have been traveling. I've been traveling there for almost 25 years, and there's always been this incredible zeitgeist of entrepreneurship, intense government support, with the creation of entities like DMCC, which allow for this. I do think something has changed, though. I think in the last 5 to 7 years, I've seen a massive acceleration in both artificial intelligence and blockchain, but really all innovative technologies, where young people from all around the world are viewing Dubai, the UAE, as a place to go to build their companies and build their careers. So I am absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. My dear friend, Dr. Manolis Kellis, I'm very honored that he was able to join me today. And we're looking forward to hearing these wonderful ideas and hopefully ask some salient questions.
Yes. Shall we start the demos?
We have Dr. Kellis speaking.
Dr. Kellis, you have to turn on your mic.
Hi everyone. So it's really such a pleasure to be here as well. Sorry for the sound difficulties here. Neither John or I can hear you. Then there's a little bit of a delay from the live audio. So my name is Manolis Kellis. I'm a professor here at MIT in the Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory and the department. I couldn't be happier to see so many exceptional startups being pitched. I've been going through your pitches. You guys are extraordinary. It's like really the cream of the crop, the state of the art. It's an extraordinary time for humanity to be able to see such dramatic changes happening in so many different areas, so many different disciplines, so many different applications. This core technology of AI is really poised to change the world. And there's no better example than the gathering today. So huge congrats and huge thanks to Anoosheh and all of the organizers at Crimson. It's an extraordinary event. And in my own journey, I've basically been part of the AI lab for 30 years now here at MIT, worked on robotics and knowledge representation and understanding of biology and of genomes and the cellular circuitry that underlies disease. And in the last few years, we've been basically using these foundation models and this ability to not just use AI to predict a particular task, but to use these foundation models that really understand the world around us in such a different way. And I think that's what we're seeing with many of these startups, the fact that, yes, you can apply AI, but you can also gain insights that were just never before possible. So super excited to collaborate with you guys. I'm super excited to interact. We've basically built a lot of AI tools for cognitive cartography and for mapping the space of documents and ideas and objects and meetings and people and files and emails, etc. And I would love to see all of your technologies come to life and hopefully partner with folks here at MIT and here that are able to help you connect with these frontiers of knowledge and innovation that are coming out of academia and that are being transformed through the startups that we're going to hear about today. So anyway, thrilled to be here. Thank you again to the organizers and really looking forward to a set of great presentations.
Dr. Manolis and John, very great to have you both join us. The first startup of the day is Applied AI. They were featured in Forbes last week, but the founder is so humble that he doesn't want to talk about it. So Arya, without further ado. And the tagline is so amazing. The most boring AI company in the world.
Thank you, Anoosheh, very much for organizing this wonderful event, all your follow-ups, and bringing us all together. Thank you. So we call ourselves the world's most boring AI company for a few reasons. One, it's hard to disprove. It's very subjective. But we think that when we started this business 3 years ago, this is before the LLM revolution started. The idea was the most boring, basically the washing machine company won electricity as GE. The bookseller won internet with the Amazon. And what's that equivalent in the kind of AI space? The hardest thing that we did was we managed to convince some really smart engineers to care about boring things. That was not as easy as one thinks. But there's a lesson in there that I can share later. Once we started, we were thinking about where can we really apply AI to that has direct business results. So how can you sell AI without using the word AI? I know we're called Applied AI, but our product names don't have the word AI in it. So the challenge we had was how do we sell AI without using the word AI? And where we found what AI actually is just better automation. And automation is not new. It's been around for a long time. The last big wave of automation that went through industry was mechanical Turk automation, which was essentially business process outsourcing, where it was fake automation. It was fake AI. It was just humans in the cloud working in the middle of the night while you slept, and it came back. So it was magic for you, but it was actually humans behind the scenes. You can't see the line. I don't know if there's a laser here. Is there? Oh, there is. There you go. Okay, so there should be a line here. I think in this version you can't see that. But we started focusing on knowledge work. Before, so the x-axis here is time, and the y-axis is the price of knowledge work. And this is, by the way, our mental model. There's no authority behind it. This is the way we see things. The marginal cost of knowledge work in our definition is the cost of communication, of compute, orchestration, intelligence, and oversight. So before the internet, the price of knowledge work was higher than the cost of onshore labor. That was called work, in the old parlance. And then what happened after the internet, the world became flat, as Friedman said, and the cost of communication went down dramatically. So we went from phone calls and letters to FTP and email, and we could access for the first time offshore labor. So this was a singular structural change that will never go back, that the price of knowledge work went below the cost of onshore labor. This began the knowledge economy internationally, which has now become a $12 trillion a year industry in salary with 1 billion knowledge workers around the world. Now, the area under the graph is the profits So we're here, just to wrap this up, we're here where we believe that the price of knowledge work is now below the cost of offshore labor, and this will not change. And we think with AI and human interaction, you could really unlock the business and the promise of AI. If you want to know more, let me know. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So very exciting. I love the way that you're positioning yourselves. It's a great pitch. I glanced a little bit ahead of your slides at this Opus LLM, and I'm just wondering if you could tell us what actually makes it different. Like, what's the catch, and how does that apply in the workplace? Like, basically, how do I tune this to the knowledge of my company? So if I'm a big company with thousands of people, how can I use Opus, and how is it teaching me something that can sort of really be valuable?
Understood. So one thing we have to use that the number of workflows that exist is finite. And we have graphed that in the work knowledge graph that we can show you. The same way language and words are finite in the dictionary. So the time to value with Opus is the fastest, we think, in the world right now, where it goes from capturing your intention. So Opus will ask you what you want to get done as a business process, and will generate for you in production fully executable code of a mixture of human and AI agents working together. It's not human in the loop, kind of at the end, last mile, but mid-mile. And basically we'll optimize that in an LLM agnostic way. So we don't care if it's GPT-5 or GPT-10 or 20, it doesn't matter. The way humans work is the same. So it will pick the most efficient LLM for that task, and we'll get the job done.
And can I export the information as a knowledge graph? Can I somehow get out of the model what the model has learned?
You mean distill our work knowledge graph? Or you mean just ask it a question about work? I don't get the question.
So the knowledge that you're extracting, is that somehow, can I see it? You're basically saying how it's transparent and it's explainable.
It is.
Tell me a little bit more about what makes it
transparent. If I look at my computer, we actually have a visual of it where you can see the whole work knowledge graph. That's the entirety of human work in a 3D vector GRAG graph, where each node represents a workflow. And the proximity of these workflows are their relationship, which we call industries. But work is really industry agnostic from a first principles perspective. A workflow is a workflow.
Got it. In the interest of time, we should move on, but this is fantastic, and I'm super excited to chat more.
Next, we have Higson Bio. Gabrielle will present. One of their co-founders actually won a presidential scientific award. Gabrielle, please. It's about making us go younger, which I definitely want one.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Leveski-Tremblay. I'm the CEO of Higson Bio. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the invitation. We are a longevity company, and we are reversing aging with advanced stem cell therapy. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but most of your blood originate from a very few subsets of cells called the hematopoietic stem cells, which is hidden within your bone marrow. And all throughout your life, it produces blood. But unfortunately, as you age, so are those cells, which eventually leads to reduction in quantity and function of your red blood cells, which carries the oxygens and your nutrients across your body. The platelets, which is your main healing process, as well as your white blood cells, which is basically your first responder. They are your immune cells after all, and eventually cause death. Now, do not be worried, because we are introducing the first advanced stem cell therapy, in which you first take a drug, 24 hours later, we recuperate your hematopoietic stem cells from your peripheral blood, rejuvenate them, and phase them back into your body using a simple IV. So we slowly phase them back in. Now, in the United States, aging is not yet considered as a disease, and for this reason, we're rapidly advancing 5 different indications, including our fastest one, which is bone marrow transplant failure. Now, we've had tremendous traction in the last 6 months of existence, in that we closed first our pre-seed round within the first month of existence. More recently, we loosely opened our seed round, and we're already 60% committed, and we have checks coming every day. Now, we have submitted a second Nature paper. There's a third one coming up in Science Journal as well. We have 7 patents, so very protected technology. We also have submitted our orphan designation to be able to fast track ourselves at the FDA. We were recently accelerated straight from Interact meeting to our pre-IND, which just saved us another 2 quarters to bring this innovative therapy within the next 2 years. And finally, we were also invited recently at the main event at JP Morgan, which is, for an early stage company, probably the dream. Our team is 2 MD and 2 PhD. Our advisory is too large for me to show it, but it's led by Robert Langer, which is the founder of Moderna, and also probably a very well-known established professor at MIT. And finally, if you're interested to know more or investing, please reach out. We may have space for 1 additional investor. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? So first of all, this is like extremely exciting. The science, really speaks for itself. It's very, very impressive. I'm wondering if you can kind of, describe a little bit about the economics and the logistics of this. Basically, how intrusive is it? Are people going to be immunocompromised if you go after that? How is that affecting their immune repertoire if you are, revisiting their stem cells? So can you tell us a little bit more about sort of the interaction of, do you have to immunocompromise patients in order to do this? And then what are some of the necessary steps, and what are you taking to address some of the existing shortcomings?
Well, it's hard for me to answer, because if we're talking simply, and I'm just going to talk here about longevity, it will be autologous. So this is actually your cells, which are aged, and they are rejuvenated outside of your body. Now, most of the work is done in animal, and they are done in what we call humanized mouse. So they're mouse that are genetically engineered to act as humans. So most of our data is based on those animal studies, which you need. They are the gold standard for the FDA and regulatory. But what we see in mouse is a rapid recapitulation of your immune cells as well, which is something super interesting that we haven't seen in previous therapies of this magnitude. So we see a rapid recapitulation of the immune cells. This being said, we don't know at this point, we don't know yet if it's going to keep, if you want, your immune intelligence. So we don't know yet at this time. We'll know in the future. But it does have the capacity to reboot the immune system, and hopefully to be able to cure diseases that are degenerative diseases, such as Alzheimer's, and other diseases such as MDS, for example. I hope this is helpful.
Alzheimer's was actually going to be my next question. So basically, the problem with Alzheimer's is not just blood, and it's not just sort of systemic. It's also the accumulation of amyloid plaques and neurofibrillary tangles and other sort of mitochondrial damage and oxidative damage and stress and lipid dysregulation in the brain. I'm just wondering if you could comment a little bit about the relationship between the blood rejuvenation and sort of these terminally differentiated cells and organs like the brain.
Wow, this will be a long answer, but I can tell you that what we know at this point is that there seems to be a direct correlation with the reboot of the system in brain, which is very attractive and interesting. But our model is also able to produce some of the very rare immune cells. So this is probably the most promising aspect of this therapy. Thank you.
Anyway, so super exciting work. Again, in the interest of time, we should move on. But we're doing a ton of work on Alzheimer's and aging, and I'm happy to interact with you guys. Happy to provide additional, more detailed feedback. So great presentation, great work. Super excited.
Thank you. Guys, please stick to 3 minutes. And Dr. Manolis, I have to cut them off even if they are answering your question. But I will connect every single startup to you. All right, guys. Now we have Rise with Elad. It's a fintech company in Egypt, so that is going to expand. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you, Anoosheh and the DMCC for hosting us. It's really great. So I'm Elad. I'm one of the founders at Rise Bank. We help consumers to do money right. So what we're building is Egypt's first mobile bank to empower consumers and really unlock for them new opportunities. Because a couple of years ago, when we started our journey, we realized that the banking system in Egypt is completely broken. There's limited access to accounts and credit, high cost and inefficiencies of current banks, poor customer experience, both in retail as well as online. The systems are super old. There's no open banking capabilities, no APIs, and there's basically no digital offering for most of the banks. And the impact of those problems is that 85% of the consumers are unbanked, and the credit market does not exist at all. Only 3% credit card penetration, less than 3 million cards are in usage. Most of them are secured. And Egypt is a massive market, almost 125 million people, growing economy, the fastest growing economy in Africa, and has a lot of potential. So 2 years ago, we went on a journey to introduce Rise Bank. We're building the first private mobile bank in Egypt that is kind of built for speed, simplicity, and empowering consumers. And also with the help of a lot of AI and some other capabilities, we want it to be available for consumers 24/7 with AI support. There's no need for paperwork, no need for going to branches, just a very intuitive experience. So we were super busy kind of building the last 2 years. We built a lot of the tech stacks and capabilities already in the market, tested, and some of it already in use. Our lending system is up and running. Our QR payments capabilities, our POS stack payment acceptance system is running already in some retail shops. We're the first one to do a digital KYC in Egypt, completely online, again, through an app, and kind of working very closely also with the regulator and the Central Bank of Egypt to integrate some of the credit bureau latest capabilities there. And really our unfair advantage is our tech data and risk models and team. We have an elite in-house tech team with AI experts. We're building the model as we go. This is the third generation of our model that's becoming super precise, predicting the credit worthiness of customers. And we already have over 10 million data points that we collected in the past year and a half from over 120,000 customers, that each one generating for us 200 data points, so we can learn and refine and improve the models over time. We also build a little bit of a different way of acquiring customers, again, through retail partners. Instead of spending a lot of money on Facebook and Google, we're just going to market with retail partners, giving free some sort of usage or trial at the beginning when customers downloading the app. And then from there, we're going and helping customers to kind of improve their experience. As a team, we have also some investors from Nubank and Itaú Bank from Brazil, and some great funds as well. So yeah, let's rise together. Worked a lot on the hummingbird, which drinking some water. If you want to talk, we're raising money, our next round, and happy to chat with interested investors. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
Certainly agree that the current banking systems are broken, particularly for the underbanked and unbanked. You kind of hinted at this, but I'd be curious if you could just dive a little deeper into what you perceive to be your customer acquisition costs, because attempts like most recently like Marcus by Goldman Sachs, it's challenging. It's challenging to bank the underbanked because you can't charge excessive fees, and the acquisition costs tend to eat into forward returns. So I know someone's going to crack this. It's absolutely a solvable problem. So just kind of curious how you think about balancing profitability alongside customer acquisition costs.
So actually, our customer acquisition cost is quite low. It's almost zero. We don't pay for acquiring customers. We don't use online paid acquisition channels and media channels. Are traditional in more developed markets, not in emerging markets. We actually follow the same strategy as Nubank Brazil, which is still consistently keeping their customer acquisition cost to like $7 to date by they adding a lot of services, so which improves the ARPU quite significantly. We took a very similar approach, which is providing credit at the POS and piggybacking the foot traffic of consumers they're coming to retail shops and purchasing like physically in stores, and then kind of being offered to use our credit service. And that's how we keep the cost almost like at zero. And also, again, we're of course incentivizing some of the retail partners to work with us. So again, super clear and very focused on keeping the cost super down.
Okay, John, sorry, I have to move on. But again, all the startups I will be connecting them to both you and Manolis. All right, next one, Spectrum. I think these guys you're going to see them in all of our airports in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Tim Cargo. Tim, you're here.
Thank you, Anoosheh. You have the clicker? Thank you. Now I have to figure it out. Thank you. Yes, so I'm Tim Cargill, really excited to be here, and I'm the founder and CEO of Spectrum, where we've built a new way to look inside of bags and boxes. You may not realize it, but there's almost 500 billion bags, boxes, backpacks, packages that move each year, and we know what's inside of almost none of them. You know, we think about the security and threats and hazards that we might pick up at the airport, but unbeknownst to most of us, most of the losses from not knowing what's inside of stuff comes from fraud and errors on the commerce side or on the soft target side, bringing your bag into a building like this, or a museum, a theater, or a school. Why is this allowed to happen? It's because today's security and imaging tools were built for aviation security. That's a very high cost, low throughput environment where it's acceptable to delay people and charge a lot of money to screen them. They don't scale. And so the new model we're building at Spectrum is moving from scanning a small fraction of those aviation packages to 100% insight in all packages, bags, and backpacks that move each year. And we do this with a very unique, highly differentiated, and highly patented piece of technology that uses radio waves. We have 5 patents issued and more to file. This is in contrast to X-ray. This gives us the capability to move at up to 5 times as fast at a fraction of the weight and a fraction of the cost of X-ray to bring that cost down and applicable to those new markets. And we're going to market in 2 form factors. Checkstream on the right for scanning small bags, backpacks, and carried items, and Cargo Stream on the left, which is for scanning packages and automated cargo. Here's a quick demo of the Checkstream. You can see as fast as I can walk through this metal detector, we've scanned my bag. Here we've got another suspect, Eric on my team, carrying something through, and it's quickly red light, green light, and that's a bag that needs to be checked. We're bringing that to market as a hardware as a service, and we think that it's going to be very attractive to customers. It's 1/4 their current labor cost of searching the bags. Here's a demo of the Cargo Stream. As you can see, it's automated. It can actually move much faster than this, and it's intended to feed automated machine vision recognition systems to identify the package contents. Also bringing that as a hardware as a service. And we believe in the import market alone, bringing e-commerce across borders, that's almost a $2 billion market. All told, we expect to be over $250 million by 2030, bringing both these products to market and seeing inside what's in that hidden world of commerce bags and backpacks that we don't currently scan. We have the team to deliver it. Leo Ludwig, myself, both with MIT, John Biddle, our senior scientist, went to Harvard, Eric Huckabee, here with me tonight, like the rest of the team. We've all built and delivered systems for the US government. And in fact, we've gotten traction from the US government for over $5 million prototyping these into the border environment. We're going to be raising a Series A maybe later this year, and we're very interested in finding an international base to sell these products internationally. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating, absolutely fascinating, and totally makes sense. I guess my question would be, how much of your TAM is government versus private sector? Because I guess, and I'm not an expert in this, but it's not immediately apparent to me that private sector requires such high throughput outside of import-export. That certainly is a massive market. Just kind of curious how much of your TAM is government and import, and military versus versus private commercial?
Yeah, today it's 100% government. Long term, it's going to involve, the growth curves are different. The government grows linearly. We expect industry to grow more exponentially. Long term, we expect it to be around 50-50. Honestly, that's a guess, though. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Our next startup is Vocadian. UG, they want to make the most important jobs on the planet safer for us. UG?
Hi everyone, my name is Yu Jie, the founder of Vocadian. We revolutionize workplace safety and health with predictive voice AI, saving hundreds of thousands of lives and millions of dollars. In the movie Ad Astra, the Major Roy conduct routine voice assessments to evaluate fatigue and readiness before high-risk space operations. Imagine applying this technology into real-world workplaces where fatigue and impairment causes accidents, injuries, and billions in losses every year. This is no longer just sci-fi. We're building this future with a world-class team in AI, speech technology, and occupational safety health. We bring top expertise from MIT and Harvard, translational skills commercializing voice biomarkers in clinical applications, and deep industry experience in safety and compliance. Workforce fatigue is highly prevalent, but still under-addressed. In industries like transportation, mining, construction, and aviation, fatigue contributes to more than 140 billion economic loss and more than 100,000 accidents every year. However, existing solutions still largely rely on self-reporting, sensor-based telematic solutions or safety cameras that are reactive, intrusive, or ineffective. We are building a predictive solution that addresses root cause beyond just real-time detection. Our product is a voice AI-powered B2B SaaS platform. Workers conduct short speech assessment in just 30 seconds before their shift. Our AI will assess fatigue, predict risk, and inform manager to take personalized interactions, optimizing shift schedules or task dispatch. We also designed the speech task being seamlessly integrated into the worker's workflow. In this case, workers will conduct at the same time the speech assessment serve dual purposes in a fatigue assessment and safety training, where the worker also complete their compliant safety training process in the speech task. Since launching, we've been working with industry-leading customers in our target segments, such as transportation, mining, construction, and we'll secure insurance partnership in worker compensation and liability. Our pilot achieving 90% of model performance compared to the industry standard PVT test, 26% reduction in the fatigue incidents, and 92% improvement in the workflow by the streamlined task. We're targeting this $11 billion market in US and Latin America initially, with plan to global expansion. We're on our track to break 1 million ARR in 2026 by converting 50% of our customer pipeline. And we'll drive our growth by both expanding the voice capability and working with accelerate our distribution with insurance partnerships and safety technology vendors. This is Vocadian from Ad Astra to reality. We redefine the occupational safety and health worldwide. Thank you.
So I'm curious, is your what are the potential actions that you're taking? Are you only basically saying, oh, you should get off the job right now, or are you also perhaps helping them by augmenting their senses, being able to sort of warn them of obstacles, or perhaps help with some aspect of self-driving or some other aspect, basically, because there's two types of decisions that you could make. One is you're too tired, get off the shift. The other one is, why don't we step in and actually help mitigate just the accident %, rather than the disruption of shifting shifts? What do you think?
Yeah. So it's always there's one part is assessment and the other part is intervention management. For the assessment part, we're doing is that we provide this objective information because currently there's a big lack of any objective information. Like people are relying on self-reporting. They still manually log in hours or report if they're get well rested or not before the shift. So that's kind of the first step. But second step, we also see huge opportunity to enhance management, and also this is in terms of individual control and team control. We're able to optimize the performance, not only just telling them whether they fit for duty, maybe assign them to like lower risk task if there's a risk cases happen, depends on the risk of the jobs. We're also optimizing, for example, a long haul truck driver, like 14 hours drive, how they actually spend time to take rest, how they spend time to actually taking behavior interventions like caffeine and others to optimize their performance. So not, I think for us, the goal is to not only be able to identify high-risk cases, stop it from happening, but also optimize how workers complete the job safely and comfortably. So that's our point.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one. Thank you, guys. So next one is E62 bio. The data is scary because Middle East, the babies has the highest rates of babies born with leukemia. And Cristiano and his team are here to save them with $1.
Thanks, Anoosheh. Thank you so much, Anoosheh. Thank you, people at DMCC, John, Manolis, and all of you here tonight. My name is Cristiano. Unfortunately for you, not Cristiano Ronaldo. And I would like to start tonight by asking you to remember a very dark times in our lives, COVID. Who remembers that time and had to take some rapid tests? Please raise your hands. Okay? All right, so we can see that most of the crowd here did it. And it seems quite obvious to all of us that's very good technology, right? But at the same time, it's also obvious for us that different regions of the planet have different diseases, right? And what if I told you that when it comes to rapid tests for emerging countries, there aren't that many good rapid tests available? So that's what E62 Bio is. We are a rapid test platform technology company, and we focus on emerging markets, right? And what's the idea? Right now, most of the infectious diseases, they are increasing, right? We have climate change, new pandemics, and we want to have like these results right away, right? And we also want to have these results in the comfort of our homes, right? Especially when it comes to STDs. And we know how to do this. We can do it this with less than $1 in less than 10 minutes. You don't need electricity. You don't need to send it to a lab, and you can put it like in a very remote area. So let's suppose that you want to get a result in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. Boom, our technology can do it, right? And this is a huge opportunity. When we're talking about rapid test market, it's a 37 billion TAM, growing at 10% per year, right? And if you think only about emerging markets, it's of 16 billion. And why is Brazil singled out here with $400 million? It's because Brazil has made it mandatory for every pregnant woman to be tested for HTLV, which is a virus transmitted via breastfeeding that causes leukemia, right? So we have the very first patent for a rapid test to detect this. And the Brazilian government, it's our first client right now. And it's going to become mandatory all over LATAM for this type of testing, right? And this is our first patent. We already have 5. This is me here. I'm an MD. I might be not the smartest in the screen, but I'm for sure the most handsome. My team, we have Lucas, our researcher. Ehab, who helps us work World Bank, helps us with distribute everything. And Mauricio is our money guy. And special thanks to Professor Harvey Lodish, MIT professor. In the 80s, developed the enzyme replacement therapy, created a company called Genzyme, sold it to Sanofi for 20 billion, and helped us came up with this solution. So we're fundraising $2.5 million to enable our manufacturing facility. And if you want to change the world or help kids, protect them from leukemia with just $1, come talk to me. Professor Manolis, I see that you have a question.
Yeah.
So this is very exciting, of course, and I can totally see the application, can totally see how this can be transformative. My question is, how many of those tests would a person need to purchase? In other words, can you combine multiple tests within the same kit so that you can have this sort of broad range testing, or do you need for every particular disease risk to have a separate such device?
Excellent question. And as the best questions, the answer is always, it depends, right? So for HTLV, it's just one test. So in Brazil specifically, it's 3 million tests because we have 3 million pregnant women per year, and you gotta test them twice, right? One the first trimester and the second time in the third trimester. But I can also test for multiple things. So one of our tests in our pipeline is a test that differentiates between dengue, Zika, and chikungunya, because these are different diseases, and although they might seem the same, you can have like one test to separate them all. So yes, it depends. Some of them make sense, some of them don't.
Awesome, thanks so much. Obrigado.
De nada.
Next is cash flowy, and United States taxes are so scary and soon. I think we have 9% tax now in corporate here. Niraj is going to save us with that.
Thank you, Anoosheh. So several years ago, I built out software for one of the big four, where we essentially, back then ML AI was still very traditional, not what we see today. They paid us a lot of money. We built out software. We won Best Accounting, Best Audit Platform of the Year several years in a row. And then fast forward now, I'm thinking actually all of those kinds of things that you had enterprise software for could now be made available to small freelancers, solopreneurs, small businesses. And what do they do right now? They use spreadsheets to do their accounting, their taxes, or they have some bookkeeping software, which they have to find a bookkeeper to do that for them because it's too hard to do it on your own. But you can really automate all of this away with AI and with your own 24/7 personal accountant, essentially. I actually have two software firms, one in New York, one in Puerto Rico, which is where I live, and I pay each one of them $500 a month. And I'm not quite sure why. I send them an email, I get a response 2 days later, and it's probably not the response I wanted because I have a follow-up question. I want someone I want to be able to talk to all the time, anytime, who will not get annoyed at me. I can ask any kinds of questions. And actually what I really want is not even to have to do that. It should just all be automated. Connect your bank account, transactions flow in through the system, auto-categorize, auto-P&L, auto-balance sheet. And I don't want to have to touch it, probably not even for taxes. So that's what we're building. It's a huge market, ready for disruption. We have a path to 60 million. This is just with the freelance market, but we might grow beyond that. We're working initially with, I lost my screen. We're working initially with affiliate partners. That's how we're going to scale up. Then with influencers, podcasts, etc. This is just for the small segment. We're doing this in the US, but I'm seeing a lot of interest here in the Middle East. So that's probably going to be our next launch market. Heidi is the CEO, I'm the CTO. She's built several businesses in the past, as have I. And we're currently raising 2.5 at 10. To automate away the need for an accountant at the small business level, and then eventually to support those accountants with our software, because that's going to be needed for large enterprises as well. So come talk to me if you're interested.
So this is a really great idea. I have a good friend in the U.S. who is doing a roll-up of sort of mom and pop accounting firms under the belief that that artificial intelligence is going to make a lot of what they do obsolete, and therefore he can aggregate basically client bases and install AI to kind of really optimize their profit margin.
Yep.
So I think this is absolutely necessary. I guess the one question I would have is, are you worried at all about any of the big four releasing tools that could compete directly with this in an attempt for them to go down market?
I don't think they will. I'm the one who built some of those tools, and I think they're not going to go after this market. But I think the friend of yours that's aggravating all these mom and pop shops, they are actually in an interesting space, and we would be the ones that they would want to use because they need to build this software. Someone has to build it. They're not going to be building it. They will use our software. And if the big four actually decide to do this, they will probably also want to use our software.
Yeah, have Anoosheh connect you with me. I'll connect you with this group that's building this out in the U.S.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, guys, our next founder, the startups, very relevant to UAE. I learned about John and Ben and Dr. Amos, professor of MIT, through MIT News. It's about desalination of water, which I think all of you in the region can understand how important it is. John?
Great, thank you so much for the introduction. Is the clicker on? Oh, it's right. Perfect, thank you. Awesome. So yeah, so I'm a fifth-year PhD student at MIT. I'm finishing up hopefully in the summer, fingers crossed. Everyone knows how that goes. But yeah, we're working on adaptive water treatment using an energy source. So we're talking like renewable energy in particular, and looking at desalination. So the first market that we're thinking about is actually oil and gas, which is also highly relevant to the region. In the United States in particular, there's about a 10-to-1 ratio of water that actually comes out of the ground per 1 barrel of oil. This is quite significant, and it's a big issue, and it can be seen as almost like, it was described as like two train cars kind of going toward each other at a very fast rate, where right now what folks do with this wastewater is they inject it into the ground, as you can see there in that picture, and this ground, this pore space is increasingly filling up, right? In West Texas, they're having earthquakes because of this, and they're starting to shut down wells, they're starting to shut down production, so this is a really, really big issue in the United States, and it's also a pretty big issue globally, too. So one of the solutions that people are looking into is using desalination. Using desalination to take this really, really saline, concentrated water from oil and gas, and then take that and use it partially in a useful way. So using this water for things like agriculture within the actual oil and gas cycle itself, then also reducing the amount of volume that's actually injected. So there's sort of two potential good streams there. Now, the issue with this and why no one's doing that yet is, one, the cost of injection is still lower than the cost of desalinating, but slowly and really rapidly, these costs of injection are rising, and the cost of desalinating in these tricky environments is going down. And one of the things that we bring to the table is solving these two issues of the remoteness of these oil and gas sites, as well as the really, really high salinity. So as you know, the typical technology out here in UAE and in all desalination plants and seawater is RO. But RO can't operate at these high salinities. It's about twice or thrice the salinity of seawater. So that begs the question, okay, what can we do? And what we're doing is we're looking into using an adaptive electrodialysis reversal technology, where we're using a membrane-based technology that's around an order of magnitude lower than the thermal tech, desalinating this highly saline water. And we're also doing it in an adaptive way in terms of energy management and resources. So this allows us to operate in these off-grid, highly remote environments, highly constrained environments, operating with variable inputs and outputs, allowing flexibility for these sites. This is the team. It's myself. There's two other MIT full-time staff engineers and our advisor there. We had a history of experience working in these constrained environments. So we started out in developing countries. We started working in India. We had some pilots in the Middle East. We had one in Gaza up there in the top right, developing remote desalination systems. And we realized that a lot of this knowledge of building these highly robust and constrained decentralized systems translated over to the oil and gas sector. So we'll leave it at that. There's a few other areas that we're looking into in the future, but thank you very much for your time.
Apologies if I missed this. What's the source of energy? What are you running this off of?
Yeah, so we're looking into renewable. So we're using a bunch of different energy. So we've proven the system on solar power, but we can also use it with grid, for instance. So with dynamic grid pricing and rapid response, this technology can operate at a really wide bandwidth of power and really respond very rapidly.
Okay. I mean, I'm guessing that you could shut down fairly quickly as well if you need to put power back into the grid.
Yep, absolutely. So one thing we're looking at within the oil and gas industry is actually balancing microgrids and balancing some of these really tricky environments. So there's kind of the dual factor of water treatment as well as the energy management.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So our next startup, I'm sure is going to be a DMCC startup, Belal. Correct, Leo? It's Leo from ML Tech. He's also presenting tomorrow at Future 100.
Thank you for having us. My name is Leo Minduk. I'm co-founder and CEO of ML Tech. ML Tech is an AI-driven wealth management platform for digital assets. We provide a variety of investment products as well as optimized blended portfolios for our institutional clients. We already have more than 20 institutional clients on our platform with the average allocation of 5 million plus. So why institutions love us? We are a non-custodial platform that provides transparency and control over their allocations. We have a menu of quantitative strategies that allows investors to get access to the new asset class, or for investors who already have exposure to the asset class to provide risk managed or diversify their portfolios. We also have 24/7 risk and monitoring system as well as real-time insights in their portfolio health. So ML Tech AI platform allows investors to compare a variety of different investment products, see their risk and performance metrics. Also, they can get tailored investment advice specifically based on their needs. We provide a lot of advanced analytics that allows them to dive deeper and optimize their portfolios. We also have AI-driven customization specific for their needs. So if you look in the traditional wealth management, it's typically one product that supposed to fit all. We actually create custom products for each institutional client with the help of AI. When investors invest, they get access to real-time views in their portfolios where they can see exposure by different exchanges, by different currencies. It also integrates into their back office operations, and we have reporting and other capabilities needed for institutional needs. So this is just the beginning. We started with the wealth management segment. We're going to expand into more different products. We're also going to continue expanding our AI capabilities by providing a recommendation system, AI-driven wealth management advice, and as well as portfolio optimization. So wealth management is just one of the verticals that we look into go into. We also look into expand in trading as a service and execution. And a lot of infrastructure that we built is very scalable and versatile. So we actually look into offer this as a service. So for example, you already have investments in the crypto market, but you don't have a way to see it across different exchanges. We got you covered because we have portfolio management. Let's say you want to learn more about crypto insights and see the research. Come to ML Tech platform, and it's all in our platform. So what we're looking to do, we believe that all the investments, all the asset classes will be tokenized. So ML Tech is building one-stop financial services platform for all institutional needs. Last year, we generated more than 5 million in revenues. We are backed by some of the top VCs. And we already have presence in the region, but we're looking for more partners here, especially multifamily offices, wealth management partners, as well as custodians and exchanges. Thank you. And please connect with us.
Okay, I think sorry, apologies. I think you're done. There's a bit of a lag. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's absolutely a need for this. It sounds like, given your AUM and the number of participants, that you are catering to larger institutions with a larger asset size, but maybe the ones who don't necessarily have expertise and want access to high quality SMAs and liquidity in one centralized system. So that's all wonderful. How are you going to source high quality product? Because ultimately, it's a garbage in, garbage out problem. If you've got lower quality managers contributing their SMAs, you'll have a performance delta to the broader market. And what's your strategy for ensuring that you've got good access to the higher quality SMAs?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So there are different ways how we're doing this. We have a due diligence pipeline where we bring professional trading teams and hedge funds through a very strict due diligence process to be on the platform. So for example, we have CoinDesk, which is a well-known index providers, and they offer products on our platform. We also work with some of the well-known hedge funds in the space, And the idea is that we want to offer a lot of different products in one platform, and we have a strict due diligence to be on the platform.
Okay.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, our next startup, it's Bolt Insight, and Oz knows the founder, and it's said by the founder who missed, unfortunately, his flight. Oz, thank you.
Hello. Yes. So we are both Chat AI, and we do AI-powered consumer interviews. I'll get to that. And so we have a very experienced team in this field. So as you can see, we have someone from Harvard. I'm from MIT alumni. I'm head of AI at the company. And let's get into what we do. So the problem is with consumer research, there's two types, quantitative and qualitative. The quantitative one gives limited information, but you can do it at scale. The qualitative research, you can go deeper in your interviews. You can really understand what the consumer wants, but you can only do a limited number of them due to cost and due to the way they are performed now. So what's our solution? To do AI automated interviews at scale. So what does this mean? It's an end-to-end platform, starting from the discussion guide, like what kind of questions you have for the consumers, for your target participants, and then the recruitment of the participants. This is also done with AI, and interview itself is supervised with LLMs and agents and AI, and then finally the report is produced. This whole process takes less than 24 hours, and you can scale it to a certain extent as much as you want, at a significant cost reduction and time reduction. So the use cases, actually anybody that's building something for consumers can use this. And can you hear me? Yes. Okay. now it's better. So it's across many industries, and it's a real problem. And just to give an example, about 80% of packaged goods that are on the market, they get cancelled within 24 months. If they did better research, this would be significantly reduced. And so we have traction, more than 100 customers, most of them Fortune 500. This whole growth happens pretty much organically as word of mouth. And yeah. Okay, the last thing I should add is the product was launched about a little over a year ago. We already have about 3 million revenue. We passed break even, so it's profitable. And the last quarter was about 1.1 million euros revenue. And the market is actually huge. It surprised me. The global insights market is about $140 billion. So there's a lot more room for growth. And you can find us there. We'll look for funding later in the year for growth. Thank you.
Manolis will ask you a question.
Okay.
Yeah, so very exciting and great to see you again.
Yes.
It's been a long time. We've known each other for a long time. So I just want to say that right now I see this extraordinary opportunity. You're gathering all the data, and then you're producing one report at a time. What I would love to see is sort of cross-cutting knowledge acquisition from many different such cases, and also liberating the user from the traditional approach of asking questions to which you expect a yes/no answer. For example, in the first slide, you're saying, would you prefer buying luxury or in store, etc. And I think in store or online. So I think that a lot of the ways that we're thinking about surveys up until now precede the extraordinary capabilities of LLMs to have just a natural conversation. And the two things that I would urge you towards is, number one, let's go beyond these traditional yes/no type answers, and then sort of make it more natural, more open-ended, let the user guide it a little bit more. And then number two, use new technologies for integrating the knowledge and presenting it with more rich information, more traceable information, sort of seeing the forest and the trees kind of thing, And some of the technologies that we have built with Mantis AI and others could be relevant here. So I'm happy to talk to you offline about sort of how you could, address those two aspects.
I'll be happy to talk. And one thing to add as a sort of answer is, so we already have plans like personas, like if you actually did surveys in certain region, you can maybe try to not redo them for other questions, but use AI to kind of create these characters. You can talk to that represent certain groups. That's one. And the second is, as an interface, we're also looking into like generative AI, maybe drawing something like to get, as you said, like actually not just a simple question answer method, but
exactly. I feel that this adaptive capability of AI, being able to sort of, learn from the user and sort of, steer the conversation in a different way could be very powerful.
Yes. Nice to see you. Talk to you.
Thank you, everyone. Our next startup, it's very exciting because it's going to help our experience with health insurance companies much better. Tavish from Encore Health.
Thank you, Anoosheh. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tavish Sangrar. I'm the CEO of Encore Health, and we are on a mission to make healthcare great again. Why? With more than $1 trillion locked away in administrative waste and inefficiencies, globally, healthcare is in crisis. US healthcare is not faring any better. Hospitals are being denied more than $336 billion in medical claims by insurance every year, and less than a fraction of those denials are being appealed. We spoke to 50 plus RCM leaders asking them why this was the case, and they said that the appeals process is resource intensive, takes about 17 plus specialists to do that, time intensive, 4 to 12 weeks to file one appeal, and manual and broken. Picture this, for a 500-bed hospital in Seattle doing $3 billion in annual revenue, $350 million is denied. To successfully appeal those denials, you need about 120 billers. And guess how many they have that on staff? Less than 40. Not a great picture, right? When you imagine that the real impact of these denials is on patients who have to file for bankruptcy for medical debt. But there's hope. We're an all-MIT team with deep experience in revenue cycle management, healthcare, and AI. And we've created Decodex. This is the industry's first vertical AI agent for revenue cycle management. We are creating the next generation of coworkers, AI agents for RCM. Within months of launching a product, we were able to bring down initial denial rates from double digits to single digits, bring down bad debt to near zero, and we have some of the best and well-known hospitals in the United States as our customers, and we are revenue positive. We are Encore Health, and we are on a mission to make healthcare great again. Speak to us if you want to join the mission. Thank you.
So this is very exciting, and I love all of the different aspects. My question is, how much do you understand the diversity of patients? In other words, if you're able to somehow steer a patient based on not only their particular coverage, but also even their particular symptoms, to places that are more likely to be efficient. I'm just curious if you have any aspect of actually diving into the medical component beyond just the healthcare provider component of things.
Yeah, so great question, Manolis. So our focus actually is on resolving clinical claims denials. And these are typically the toughest of the tough, where we deep dive into the patient's case history, taking information from EHR, their medical records, lab reports, and even peer-to-peer interactions between doctors. All of this is ingested in a proprietary clinical natural language processing model and analyzed to create a confidence score, which then eventually steers the course of their insurance adjudication. What also helps is that in 2024, a federal law was updated to actually guide insurance providers to adjudicate claims on the basis of evidence-based care guidelines. And that's what we use when determining the qualification of a case.
Very excited to be just happy to talk offline.
Thank you.
Let me know when you're back on campus.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next startup is our cybersecurity guy, Andrew.
Thank you. Everybody wants to be a cybersecurity guy. So we're Cytex. I'm Andrew Swillow. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cytex. I'm here with my co-founder and CTO, Timur Aslam. Between the two of us, we have 5 successful businesses behind us. I would say that we're the most excited about this one. My background, and Timur's background, we have a history of finding non-obvious problems to complex issues. Timur's master's thesis actually became the basis for the CV index, which is the standard for codifying known threats within cybersecurity. Myself, my first startup was a software company that invented buy online, pick up and store technology for retailers. We were the first to do so back in the late 90s, early 2000s. We came together to start Cytex to solve a pretty significant problem that every organization and every government has. And that is cybersecurity visibility. Oops. And as I said yesterday, just because you went to MIT does not mean you know how to drive one of these. So what's the problem that we're solving? Today, how the industry is solved for cybersecurity is through a proliferation of disparate applications. The average company is managing 26 different applications across devices, networks, IT, OT devices. And really what that's done is create this opacity where there are data silos, and it's hard for teams to understand, are my apps even configured correctly? Where are the threats? If there's a threat in one area, where else does it exist? We're not going to hear a CISO ever say, if only I had more applications, my life would be better. So our basically our AI-powered cyber command center brings together cybersecurity, compliance, and governance to give you real-time insight and actionable data to affect all of these areas. So our clients enjoy the ability for network security, cloud security, app security, and compliance management, bringing these together. In most organizations, this means that we've got compliance people on one side who are not communicating with people in IT. So we're bringing these things together to rationalize visibility and defense. Our platform can replace all of these applications you see here, but we also work well with over 120 different applications. If there's a need, we can fill it. So we're actually meeting the client where they need it rather than trying to push a solution on them. We've also augmented our platform with Leo, which is our AI security co-pilot. Leo's been trained on 6 different personas, everything from C-level executive, CISO, threat hunter, compliance manager, and we're announcing today that we're actually testing and training a governance aspect as well. So we're able to aggregate all the risks in one place into our risk repository, so full visibility, which then is stratified, so you can actually track a risk when it's identified through resolution. We've also, from a governance perspective, invented the first of its kind real-time attestation platform for governing organizations, hospitals, and large organizations, so they can query in real time a covered entity's controls in real time. This is one of our examples. I know, I'm sorry, I'm running out of time.
Okay, wonderful, very exciting. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about the secret sauce. Basically, it sounds like you're trying to take on so much, and it's not clear exactly how this sort of training system that you have is unique, and what is your moat against others coming in. So I'm just wondering if like why aren't all these other people doing this? Can you tell us a little bit about what
so we have
you to take on so much?
Good question. We have several patents filed. We have one that's been granted for our digital twin technology. So we do have that advantage, and also how we solve for the integration is unique to us as well. So we do have first mover advantage. So that's one of our moats. The other one is we have some strategic partnerships with large organizations like Marsh, the Cyber Fusion Innovation Center, which is part of the DoD, and other organizations. So right now, the industry is solving for by consolidation. So they're trying to create their platforms by consolidating smaller entities. And we have the flexibility of either being a total solution or just a partial solution. So flexibility, cost, and ease of deployment. Our average deployment takes 35 minutes. That use case actually was a 12-location hospital where we implemented cloud security posture management, cloud app security, DNS firewall, and HIPAA compliance.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sarah. It's Sebastian from Amplified Industries. It's everything that UAE is looking for. And he will be presenting tomorrow at Future 100 as well. Sebastian?
Thank you, Anoosh, for having me here, and thanks everyone for taking an evening away from your family, and DMCC for hosting us. So I'm Sebastian, founder and CEO of Amplified. So nowadays you basically have high-speed, very affordable internet access anywhere on the planet. You have either 5G network, you have Starlink, and many more other satellite networks. And if you go on an oil field, you're going to find hundreds, if not thousands, of machines connected on basically a dial-up network, sending data at super low rate to some centralized facilities. We're basically building the platform for the future for heavy industries focusing on oil and gas that allows us to collect a huge amount of data for each machine, process all that, and we use that to do real-time control on all the machinery so that it's running efficiently, producing more, and spilling less. So without going in detail, we streamline how the process works, allowing us to have a system that is much faster, much easier to deploy, and potentially much more affordable, especially in more difficult environments. So we have little devices that connect to the existing machines, for example, on wells, on tanks, on compressors, on kind of all kinds of big toys, and measure all the industrial metrics that you would need. That is sent to our cloud where we process everything. So we have layers of all kinds of more traditional signal processing, applied mathematics, a bunch of machine learning, and now we're adding LLMs into the mix to reduce to increase the accuracy and reduce the false positive. And we use that to control and, for example, to eliminate spills. So last year alone in the US, we eliminated close to 200 spill, and the volume that's about 20% of what the Exxon Valdez spills. To give you an idea, you're talking about millions and millions of liters, close to 10 millions. On average, we increased production by 8% on all the fields that were on, while drastically reducing the operating cost. So this is a team from right to left, money guy, former PE banker in Houston in oil and gas, a computer science guy. He built the back end of a lot of IoT startups before, PhD in math, who worked with energy and data science company before joining us, and myself, PhD in aerospace at MIT. In France, I was doing quantum physics, and used to work with Siemens and Schlumberger before starting this. So we have over 2,000 systems deployed in the US across 10 states. We're just starting our first deployment in 2 countries in Latin America in 2 weeks and then in 2 months. The company is growing very well. We are closing our Series A this Friday. We're raising an additional 12 million. So the reason why I'm here is basically finding people that can connect us to the Middle East. It's my first time here. I landed here 2 days ago, and that will help us expand this technology. Thank you very much for your time. Won a bunch of awards. It works. I'll take questions now. Thank you.
Some of the bandwidth could be limited by, or at least the need might be obviated, or at least limited, by being able to use AI locally on the devices, compress into a latent representation that is much more compact, and then being able to transmit that signal. I'm just curious if you, like, what is your trade-off between sort of compute compared to bandwidth and latency?
Actually, it's super interesting because our first algorithm that we deployed of machine learning was for compression to run on the device. So we already do a huge amount of that, and we still needed that to send even more. And the answer is you need both. You have models that run on the edge, and you have models that run on the cloud, and you can deploy training data to the local model. It's basically a balance of both, depending on how reactive and how safety critical the control mission you're doing is.
And I just want to add that it's not just about compression. Sometimes it's about interpretation. And then what you're sending out is just the codified information that you need.
Yeah. And so some optimization you can do at the scale of a machine, some optimization you start to do at the scale of a field. So for that, you need to do remotely when you have several wells in an area basically talking to one another. So there's kind of different layer. Think of it as, geographically different layers. You optimize within 100 meter or within 10 kilometers.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you guys listening to all the pitches and for the pitches as well. We have one more startup here who there's no time for them to pitch. It's Sagwan and Daniel. They are here. They're the founders of Extra. Whoever is in commodity trading and AI and blockchain, you guys should connect with them. They're both here. At the end, I also want to, I just realized I forgot, I have four other incredible team members that I must thank. Andrei Bryuchinsky, who's here, Ilya Lotov, and Ali Jumaphoy, and James Camp. These guys are all in venture capital and private equity, and they were on the selection board of going through the 52 applications and are amazing. So Andre is here. He's an all MIT alum. Andre is here, and you can go on our website. They're all listed on our team and connect with them. These guys are incredible and are willing to help, so as are all the founders who are here. Thank you so much, Belal. Thank you so much, and Salman and Ville. This is incredible to have people here who are embracing innovation, entrepreneurship, and welcoming us to Dubai in such an elegant way. Thank you so much, Belal.
Thank you, too.
Would you like to say something?
I know.
No? All right. Okay, guys. Have a great night.
How are you doing? Yes, nice to see you. How are you? Yes, yes.
Oh.